Another fall evening here on the river in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's the Pittsburgh Riverhounds playing host to the Charleston Battery here at Highmark Stadium with the former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey. I'm Josh Eastern. Thanks so much for being with us. A big game tonight with playoff implications for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds in terms of seeding. As we look at the Atlantic Division standings, they come in third spot. Still a lot to figure out, though, in these final couple of games.
Yeah, there certainly is. Unfortunately for Charleston Battery, they're not going to make it no matter what happens, which is a huge blow to them. For Pittsburgh, yeah, they're 3 points behind Charlotte, but Charlotte got a couple of tricky matches. Certainly their final match, I think, away at Austin Bowl will be tricky. So Pittsburgh must do their job, win both games. They're both at home, finish on 58 points, and see what happens to Charlotte.
And of course, they have a little bit of something to finish off in the midweek. We'll get into that as this game continues. But going back and looking at these two teams so far this year, a lot of really competitive matches.
Yeah, they certainly have. There's been the one win for Pittsburgh. Otherwise, it's been draws. The last draw being 3-3. So goals flying in left, right, and center between these two sides. The first match, a 1-1 draw at the Battery, 3-2 to Pittsburgh, also away at the Battery, then 3-3 at Highmark on September 25th. And you can see goals flying in left, right, and center. And yet Dixon Golasso got Pittsburgh a point in the dying moments.
Yeah, that draw last time between these two sides, that pretty much eliminated Charleston from playoff contention. And as we look at Pittsburgh, Danny Vitiello in goal. He has been strong for the Riverhounds.
He certainly has 8 clean sheets this season, 61 saves, and the last match at home, in front of the home crowd, he had a penalty save against Tampa Bay Rowdies, and that helped them out to a 2-0 victory. There it is, and what a good save it was. Vital and a morale-boosting victory over the team top of the table in the Atlantic Division.
And of course, the Golden Glove winner a year ago in the USL Championship. On the other side for the Charleston Battery, Jabel Perez, 2 goals on the season. He scored last time out against Los Dos.
He did against Los Dos. He scored, and by the way, his other goal was against Pittsburgh back in July 7th. There's the Los Dos goal at the far post, just sneaking in and finishing it off. And as mentioned, I'm sure he'd love to score against Pittsburgh again. The man is a Cuba U20 international.
And he will be on the bench tonight, so potentially providing a spark for Mike Anhauser and the Battery. They're looking to finish the season strong. Pittsburgh is looking to get into that top 2 and get that crucial home playoff game. 3 points, a must tonight for the Riverhounds. Lineups and first kick coming up next.
Before, you weren't able to walk very far.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I couldn't even get out of bed sometimes.
How are you walking now?
I'm walking 6 miles a day.
Awesome.
Getting control back is living proof. The AHN Neuroscience Institute.
I can't believe we're doing this.
Gus, you're not scared, are you?
I don't like thunder. Hope there are no monsters.
Did you say monster?
Ooh, Monster Money. The new scratch-off from the Pennsylvania Lottery.
Yeah, with top prizes of 13 grand.
That's a monster of a prize. Keep on scratching.
And it's saved! And the rebound goes over the top!
The 2021 regular season comes to a close on Saturday, October 30th, when the Hartford Athletic are in town for a 7 p.m. showdown at Highmark Stadium. It's Fan Appreciation Night as the Hounds battle for home field advantage in the playoffs. Come early and join the crowd at the tailgate zone that's open 2 hours before kickoff through halftime. Visit riverhounds.com or talk to a ticket representative at 412-865-GOAL.
Building up to first kick, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and the Charleston Battery to start off this Saturday night in the USL Championship. It's time to look at tonight's starting lineups. We will start with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Pretty much the same core for Bob Lilly and the Riverhounds tonight.
Yeah, just the one change. Danny Rivera comes in for Jordan Dover. Otherwise, it's the same lineup that did so well away at Miami FC to get what was then a 0-0 draw, but we'll talk about it later. It might not be a 0-0 draw. Let's see.
And on the other side for the Charleston Battery, they played midweek, so a few changes here for Mike Anhauser.
Yeah, 5 changes in total. Out go Leland Archer, Josh Penn, Chabel Perez, Zara Costas, and Easy Harmon. In comes Romario Piggott, Adesoden, Zico Lewis, Repetto, and Niku Daly. So 5 changes is quite a lot, but you expect that. Nothing left to play for the Battery, so they're rotating their teams.
So that pretty much gets us set for first kick. It is playoff weather here in Pittsburgh. Temperature in the low 50s, might even dip into the 40s tonight. A cold night in the Steel City. There's our referee, Sergei Demyanchuk. We're waiting on his whistle, and we can get things underway. Pittsburgh will be in all white tonight, and it's the Charleston Battery that get the gold/yellow and black. And we are underway. A beautiful night here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Thanks for joining us. It's the Riverhounds and it's the Battery, the 4th meeting between these two sides this season. And as we showed you in the open, only one team has won a matchup in these first 3 matches. A couple of draws, one in Pittsburgh, one in Charleston. But I think the most dramatic match was that last one here in Pittsburgh. It was 3-3 the finish, but it was Charleston who came from well behind in that to take a 3-2 lead, and then at the end, Alex Dixon had a tremendous finish to win, or pardon me, to earn a point for the Riverhounds on the night. So we'll see what we get here tonight. Even though Charleston is eliminated, Mike Anhauser has said, we are playing to win and we are trying to be as competitive as possible coming into these games.
Yeah, when we chatted to him, he said he's aiming for 46 points, maximum points from these last few games. And then he says, you know what, we might not make the playoffs in our division, but we want to look at other divisions and say, hey, we would have been good enough to have made the playoffs there. And I think that's just, you know, it's clever coaching. You just set your players new targets whenever you can. You try and give them a reason to play. And that's his target for the Battery. Finish with maximum points.
As this cross comes in and bounces out of play, a goal kick coming for the Battery. Last time out for them, pretty good win, 3-1 over Los Dos. 3 different goal scorers, Jabel Perez, Romario Piggott, Zico Lewis also getting on the score sheet. Mike Anhauser was very pleased about that performance. Thought it was a good first half, and he didn't really let Los Dos get into much of a rhythm on the night. And I mentioned to him they came out with really good energy. He agreed with that, and they really carried it throughout.
They did. They had much better energy than when they came out against Charlotte and got beat 5-1. But I've got to be honest, in that match against Los Dos, and say that once they went 2-1 up, twice they were kicked off the line by Logan Gadula. Incredible defending.
True.
And that could have been 2-2, and then they got the win in the 89th minute. So it sounds good at 3-1, but the stats will tell you there were 7 shots apiece for both sides on target. So it was a pretty close game.
There's Repetto, able to keep it for Charleston. You see that pink hair for Angelo Kelly. This ball's put out of play. It was Breast Cancer Awareness Night the other night in Charleston, so he's still sporting that pink hair. The player down here is Gadula for Charleston. He's holding his hip.
Having a little word with the referee is just to say you missed something when I got hit, and that's why I'm in such pain. But tough times for Charleston Battery fans and players at the moment, having made the playoffs for the entirety of the USL and many years before that. Probably goes back about 12 or so years they've been making the playoffs, and this is the first time. And we did actually ask Mike Anhauser, what does it feel like? And he said, well, he doesn't know yet, because in his mind they're still playing as if they win the playoffs. But he said when the time comes it will feel, no doubt, a little bit strange.
There's a chance. Oh, and now the referee's stopping play once again. Bernardo Forbes got hit in the side of the head.
Nice to see a shaking of hands between players, nothing malicious in that, but the referee doing the right thing, Sergei Demyanchuk. And that is just making sure that whenever it comes to a head injury in particular, that the player's fine, there's no issues, no problems. Let's have a look. It's always painful when you get a crack on the nut. That was more of an elbow, to be fair. It wasn't 2 heads coming together, and that's probably why Forbes is a little bit upset.
I think he understood there from Angelo Kelly the situation, but he'll have to come off here for just a moment.
Such a fabulous player, King Kenny. Unbelievable assist man, as we know, top in the USL over the years. Stunning, stunning player. When we were chatting with Mike Anhauser, we just sort of asked him what was the difference between his side and Pittsburgh, one team that's made to the playoffs, the other team hasn't, and he said they have so much quality. When you look at the Forbes and Cicerones and the seasons they've had, he just said that little bit of extra quality from top class players. And you know, we've struggled. They've had a lot of changes, Charleston Battery, new players coming in. He said we've just fallen a touch short when it comes to scoring goals and possibly defending at the right times.
He mentioned those stretches in the season where they had won 3 in a row, and he said maybe if we could have just won one more, that could have gotten us over the hump a little bit. Just not able to do it this year. And you look at the Atlantic Division from top to bottom, and I know Loudoun is, I guess, the team that's given up so many goals, but here's a chance coming for Pittsburgh. Charleston able to clear this away. But even from top to bottom, Loudoun can still give you some trouble. You look at Hartford, they're a very quality side as well. This is one of the toughest divisions in the entire USL Championship, and unfortunately for the Battery, it just didn't quite work out this year. There's a look at Bob Lilly. His side will be going to the playoffs for the 4th straight year. It was the first time when they made it last year, making it 3 straight years in Pittsburgh Riverhounds history. So Bob Lilly getting the Riverhounds back into the playoffs, and I guess the seeding is still a bit up in the air.
I think one of the reasons why Pittsburgh have done so well, the Riverhounds, is that they've had a very good defense. If you compare the goal scoring between Pittsburgh and Charleston, Pittsburgh have 49 goals, Charleston 48. It's hardly any difference. But have a look at the goals conceded. Pittsburgh 33, Charleston 52, 19 more. And that's where I think the Riverhounds have been fantastic. Again, Mike Anhauser, we see in picture there, saying that his defense haven't been as good as they normally are. And I think those figures prove the point. If they could have been better in defense, Battery, they certainly scored as many as Pittsburgh virtually. They would have been up there in the playoffs, you would think.
And they battled some injuries this year in the midfield and that back line as well. Leland Archer, who has started every game he has played, 23 of them this year, is not in the 18 tonight. So missing a few key pieces. Cicerone was closed down by Kelly. Now Gadula collects for Charleston. Zico Lewis out wide for Kelly, looking for that square ball, and it's cleared away.
Just having a look at Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and you might think if you're watching this, well, they haven't got much to play for. They have a lot to play for in terms of finishing second, because you get a home bye, or a home game rather, and at home Pittsburgh Riverhounds are a good side, especially when it gets to playoffs, because you ramp it up, you get the crowd in, etc. The problem is you finish 3rd or 4th. If, for example, Charlotte finishes 2nd and Pittsburgh finished 3rd, they will play either Birmingham Legion or Lou City away from home. Now both those teams have had a fantastic season, especially on home turf. Lou City at Lynn Family Stadium have been very, very difficult to beat, and Birmingham Legion have been absolutely stunning. You don't want to be that team traveling for those sort of games.
Cross coming in, the header queuing out of play. A player down here after the play. That's Todd Wharton. Well, we were talking before the game about it. If you win that first game, the seeding kind of goes out the window. It all goes to points. So if you can have kind of that top points over a Birmingham or a Lou City. As we take another look at this cross from Rovira.
Both players going up, and once again just shows you the commitment. What are we just a few minutes into this match? We've had 3 players down injured, not through nastiness, just through absolute total commitment from everybody. So this isn't one of these end of season games where it just tails off. This is 2 teams really going out to do what they need to do. For Pittsburgh, try and finish 2nd, and for Charleston Battery, finish in a position that shows them they would have been good enough in almost any other division and would have made the playoffs.
Taken away by Rovira. And now it's Griffin. Well, the reason that home playoff game's still alive for Pittsburgh is, of course, because of the news coming from the USL yesterday in what will be a resumption of play in the Miami-Pittsburgh game. And that is due to a misapplication of rules during the original match back a few weeks ago, or pardon me, 1 week ago on October 16th. That game finished in a 0-0 draw. They'll pick that up in the 67th minute, 1-0 to Pittsburgh, and they'll travel down there on Wednesday. So a midweek quarter of a game coming up for the Riverhounds and Miami FC on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's a very interesting situation. I was on the call for that match, and there was a goal scored not from a free kick, but a free kick played to a player, and then it was scored. And as you say, a misapplication of the law, which they were saying the USL is very rare. Normally, if a referee makes a mistake, it's just part and parcel of the game. But when there's a total misapplication and the goal should have been allowed, and instead they gave a corner to Pittsburgh, then it was a total case of let's look at this and see if fairness has been done. In the interests of fairness, they're insisting on playing those last 24 minutes or so. So a very unusual situation, but I think the USL doing the right thing. And by the way, the USL don't make the decision as to whether it's fair. The referee's body does. Yeah,
that was the interesting point, was only Pro can determine if it is a misapplication of the law. The USL does not have that jurisdiction. So that's an interesting point to note in that whole situation.
And so just to take this further, if they then pick up the game 1-0 up, because they only got a point from the game.
Chance coming, flag is up on the far side. Forbes was nearly in along with Williamson.
Just to say, they only got a point from that game as we stand. If now they go back with a 1-0 lead, 20-odd minutes to play, and they can hold on to that league, the Riverhounds, they'll have an extra 2 points. They'll be, I believe, a point behind Charlotte. So winning tonight and putting pressure on Charlotte is massive for Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
And of course, getting a home game is so important. You look at the last 6 games for Pittsburgh, 4-0-2. You go over then the last 11, 8-1-2. And they've scored 15 goals in their last 5 home games. So that is a completely different story than them playing on the road, and getting that home match here so crucial.
That's another injury. They really have been sort of getting stuck into each other, and maybe just a slightly raised arm there from Mikel Williams. Be very, very careful, defenders these days, of where you put your elbows and arms when you're making a tackle. But again, 12 minutes in, and 4th injury, and commitment from both sides. And again, I don't think any nastiness, just players imposing their physicality on each other. I don't know if Bob's saying, I want 3 goals from you today with those 3 fingers, or... What a season Cicerone's had, by the way. Absolutely brilliant with the goals that he has scored. He's joint 7th in the USL on 15, alongside Preston Judd of LA Galaxy 2, but Cicerone, and he doesn't always play, Josh, as an out-and-out striker. He often plays wide. He often serves up balls to the likes of Williamson in the middle. So fantastic season, Russell Cicerone.
Yeah, he scored 10 goals over 2019-2020 with St. Louis. And as you mentioned, that 15 number, he's really been pouring them in this year for the Riverhounds. Daly back on the field. They'll get it out wide for Logan Gadula. Gadula hanging in between the lines. Lewis.
Pressure there coming from the battery, just forcing the ball backwards. So maybe I'm repeating myself, but a lot of battery fans must be shaking their heads thinking, we're good enough to make the playoffs, you know. And I think they're just unlucky. They're in a really stacked Atlantic division with Charlotte having brought in some unbelievable talent. Miami FC have a stacked squad. Tampa Bay have been playing lights out. And Pittsburgh have been extremely solid all season. So, and I think Hartford probably fall into the same category of thinking that early on in the season they looked almost certain to make it.
Rivera got too much air under the cross. It will be kept in on the far side. Dixon sends it back in. Kuzminski there to claim it.
Good goalkeeping, safe hands from Kuzminski. It's a big goalkeeper and dominates that box.
Here's Forbes in for Griffin. Now Wharton trying to return it to Griffin. Pittsburgh will keep it. Now Rovira. Forbes, diagonal ball out wide for Dixon. He took it in on the volley. And does win a corner kick out of it, first of the night for the Riverhounds.
Beautiful ball from Conrado Forbes, as always. Dixon, interestingly enough, there played it first time. He didn't try and bring it down. But sometimes by playing it first time, you can catch defenders who are not properly in position. But of course, it's a lot more difficult to hit the ball first time. So but between Dixon and Forbes, and such quality in this Riverhound side.
Of course, it will be Forbes to stand over this corner kick. Curling this in towards the penalty spot. Kuzminski taps this up and over. It'll be another corner kick coming for Pittsburgh.
Jelani Peters with a fantastic header there, and he has scored already this season from a set piece. Look how big he is and look how he gets up. He's being marked for a moment, but he gets away from his marker, Patrick Hogan. And in the end, Kuzminski, it's sort of just above the goalkeeper's head, so he's able to reach it.
Now it's Forbes coming over to the near side to take it. Forbes curling in into a good area again. Kuzminski had to punch that away. And Pittsburgh will collect it. And all the way back to Vitiello.
And just looking back to that opportunity for Jelani Peters and poor defending from, in this case, Patrick Hogan, and that's been an issue for Charleston, as we mentioned. The defense has let them down. In the last 7 matches, Battery have scored 14 and Pittsburgh 13. Battery have conceded 21, Pittsburgh just 8. That's the difference. You're going to struggle to win games if you're conceding a lot, and conceding 21 in the last 7 games is an average of 3 per game by Charleston Battery, normally very, very tight in defense. So that's probably what has seen them miss out on a playoff place.
The best few chances of this match thus far coming just a few moments ago through Pittsburgh on those 2 corner kicks. Charleston haven't had too many chances to test Danny Vitiello through about 18.5 minutes. Here's Kelly. Along for an acute Daly. It was taken off his feet. Vitiello will knock it downfield again. Now it's Zico Lewis. Hit up ahead for Repetto, and just too far out in front. Rolling out for a goal kick.
It's a pity because Zico Lewis had done a hard job there. He'd broken the lines. He was running towards the edge of the box. He just had to take a little bit more care with that pass to Repetto. And that's important for players. Your final pass, you've got to make it easy for the person receiving the ball. Instead, he overhits it and it goes out for a goal kick. Opportunity lost.
Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Bob Lilly said coming out of that 0-0, what was a 0-0 against Miami last week, he said potentially that was our best game defensively, being able to tame that sort of attack and posting a clean sheet. We'll see if it turns out to be a clean sheet in the end after Wednesday, but over those 90 minutes, he thought that was one of his team's best defensive performances, and getting a Bob Lilly team defensively tuned up and peaking towards the playoffs, that's exactly what you want.
That's trouble for everybody else. Yeah, they just allowed Miami one shot on target the entire 90 minutes, while they had 7 shots on target. So that away from home against a very good Miami FC side, that was an amazing effort. And as you say, you start to look at it, and I'm sure other managers here on the East are looking at this, Lou City, Birmingham Legion, and going, ooh, there's trouble. Pittsburgh are just finding that sort of measly defensive approach they're so good at. I don't think Lou City or Birmingham Legion would be keen to take on Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
And still a lot to figure out in the central of who's going to finish in that top spot. And Cicerone dribbling in, passing in the middle, laid off for Forbes. And Kelly slides in to break it up. And maybe a chance to now get out on the break. Here's Lewis. Repetto making the run up ahead. Griffin stepped in to block the pass and win it for Pittsburgh. Looking at that Central Division, Birmingham and Louisville will play next week in Birmingham. And if both teams win this week, that'll most likely be for the top spot in the Central Division.
If you're Pittsburgh and you don't finish second, I don't think it makes a difference whether you're third or fourth. Either Birmingham Legion or Lou City away. They're both extremely difficult matches, and as you know from the playoffs, the fans are packed in, the vibe is there. You know, the home ground advantage becomes a lot more important when you reach the playoff stage, and this is why I think Pittsburgh put up, you know, a real fight about this match during the week, and the goal that was disallowed and shouldn't have been, and they've got a chance to go and get the 3 points they feel they deserve, because they desperately want the second place.
We just talked about a few minutes ago their record here at Highmark Stadium. Obviously much more comfortable playing on their home surface, even though they started off the season with 2 home losses. You don't see that a whole lot, but of course they have rebounded very well on their home field.
And it works both ways. It's not just you are better at home, it's your opponents are worse away from their home ground.
Yeah.
And you know, if it's going to be Memphis or FC Tulsa, which it would be if Pittsburgh finished second, then I don't think either. Well, actually, to be fair, Tulsa have had some good results. They beat Lou City on the road, so I better be careful what I say there.
But they've been so streaky, up and down.
They've been terribly streaky. So, you know, as a manager, if you're Bob Lilly, you finish second, you're going to be fairly confident that certainly in the first playoff round that you've got a good chance of going through.
He really thinks this team is starting to come into peak performance towards the end of this season.
He said when we asked him, he said, you know, we sort of said, why do you think you're playing better now? And he said, because we have a good understanding of who we are and how we want to play. And I think what he means is everyone's on the same page. Everyone knows their role, how they play 3 at the back, how they counter, what they do. And that comes over a season of constantly working and improving yourself and understanding each other. And Bob Liddy feels that they've really got to the point now where they've got it under control, and they really know how they should play alongside each other.
Well, that's an interesting point, because last year you didn't really get that in a 16-game season, but here's Dixon curling this in and putting it wide. But back to that point, 16 games, you don't really get that. You can't really figure everything out. You double that amount of games, and obviously it changes a whole lot of factors.
The one factor you don't know is Alex Dixon. I'm sure that's Bob Lilly's wild card, because he has just been unbelievable this season, scoring goals. I know that Russell Cicerone scored more goals. He's 15 versus Alex Dixon's 9. But Alex has 8 assists to go along with his 9 goals. But he's also, it's hard to read and to know what he's going to do next.
Here's Forbes. Rovira. And now Cicerone, who finds himself in a wide position. Forbes stayed on side, puts this in the middle. The shot is just wide. Looked like Wharton got his foot on it.
Decent effort, and the moment you get Conrado Forbes in the box, then you know that something's going to happen, because he gets his head up straight away, has a look. You know it's going to be a decent ball in, and Todd Wharton he's just in front of the post. He can't whip his foot around it. He's got to try and bend that, and to be fair to him, he's being tackled at the same time by Angelo Kelly, so he didn't get a real good swing at that ball.
Nervy back pass there. Now Kuzminski will clear. Out wide, Rovira. He'll go with his right foot this time, right through the middle, off the post. Still there for Pittsburgh, back in the middle, there's the finish. If at first you don't succeed, try again, and there's Todd Wharton to make it 1-0.
That's a great finish from Todd Wharton, not just by the way he finished it, but as you say, he kept on going. He had one stab at it, he got himself up, he'd hit the post, he gets himself ready, gets himself in a good position for the ball back. Have a look at the build-up on the left-hand side here. Danny Rivera, decent ball in. Todd Wharton once off the post, but he gets back up and he gets ready. Have a look at it again, off the post, gets back up and says, okay, I'm ready, get it back in the box. He sizes up the goal. When the ball comes back in, goalkeeper still out of position, and he sticks it into the back of the net there. Look at goalkeeper Kuzminski, out of position. This time, he does finish it off. Brilliant there from Todd Wharton.
So Todd Wharton, his 4th goal on the season. We were just talking a few minutes ago about Russell Cicerone scoring but also assisting. He gets the assist. That's his 8th on the season. And just like a few weeks ago when these two teams met here at Highmark Stadium, the first goal goes to Pittsburgh, and it goes from Cicerone to Wharton. So great start for the Riverhounds, and when they score first, they are so much more successful, 12-2-3 on the season when that is the case.
Well, the fans are celebrating with the smoke in the background, but I'm sure the neutrals watching are saying, well, you know what, last time they met it was 3-3. How about serving us up another 6-goal humdinger? It's possible. Of course, it's equally possible that Riverhounds score a second and put Charleston Battery to the sword, because they don't give you much, Pittsburgh Riverhounds at home. So it's going to be a tough one for Charleston Battery to get back in this match.
I'm always good for a humdinger. Put in quickly. Now Crawford provides the cross. Back post, put back in the middle. Nobody could redirect it towards goal. And now Pittsburgh will look to play out. A great chance off the set piece for the Battery. Now this is put out of play.
Sure, bit of a scramble there, wasn't there? Having just gone 1 up, Pittsburgh not dealing with the ball in, and it could have gone anywhere, could have fallen to anyone. In the end, they're able to get rid of it and get it back up to Charleston's half of the pitch, but a little bit of a lucky scare there.
Good pressure by Danny Rovira, able to win it back for Pittsburgh. Rovira will bring it into the middle. Kelly stepped in. Flag stays down. Rovira curling it into the middle. Cicerone still there. It's Cicerone, and it's saved by Kuzminski. A lot of Charleston players were looking for that flag. It never came up.
Just wondering, did Cicerone have any options at a very, very tight angle to have scored there? And the goalkeeper just stood big at his near post. Have a look here. He does great, Cicerone, plays it up wide. And it'll come back to him here, and he gets in front of the defenders. Now have a look. Gets down the line, very tight angle. Could he have pulled it back to anyone? Hard to see if there's white shirts in the box, but in the end, big Kuzminski was too big to get past.
Right at the half-hour mark, Pittsburgh have the goal to see them in front thus far. The pass intercepted by Gadula. Gadula continues his run. Here's Zico Lewis. Hugh Daly. Gadula pushed down, and it's a free kick.
Bit of a shove here. You've got to keep your arms out the way. Referees can see that obviously very, very clearly there from Russell Cicerone. Now it's a set piece, and Riverhounds are going to have to mark up tight. Some big boys in that Battery team.
It's Robbie Crawford who stands over it. Curling this in, Vitiello coming out and claiming it. Very well done. And a player down in the box. It's Williamson who's holding that left foot.
There's always a shove and a push in that box when a set piece comes in, and obviously it looks like he got stood on, but good goalkeeping, by the way, Danny Vitiello. He's not the tallest goalkeeper in the world, but great spring, fantastic timing, commits, comes all the way, good hands, good stretch, and it almost seems like Russell Cicerone landed on Tommy Williamson's foot, which can happen when you're all got your eyes on the ball. You can't see where you're going, obviously. Just watching the ball in the air, and these sort of collisions can happen.
Of course, it was Williamson to score that equalizer in the first matchup between these two teams back in July. That was at Patriots Point in Charleston. San Jose Earthquakes loanee. He's been thrust into a bit of a bigger role with Albert Dikwa going down due to injury. He came back. He's played a couple of times this month, but I'm talking with Bob Lilly. Says he re-aggravated an injury and he might be out a little bit longer, and that means Williamson will have a bit more on his shoulders going into the playoffs.
That is a blow not having Albert Dikwa, certainly for the first game of the playoffs, and as you say, it's a good few weeks. So what few turns out to be, we're not 100% sure, but I'm sure they'll be desperate to get him back. Should they progress after the first playoff, they'll be desperate to get him back for the games from then onwards. But, you know, when one player gets injured, it opens the door for another. That's the nature of the game, and Williamson certainly has impressed this season. 6 goals and 4 assists, not bad at all.
Here's Gadula for Charleston. Bringing this into the middle. Kelly trying to keep it alive. Repetto on the turn. Now Kelly will play this into space. Vitiello saves it. Nick Daly denied. Corner kick Charleston.
Good strike from Daly there, but Vitiello stands up big and strong. He Gets left unmarked. Have a look here. The ball comes to Daly. There's no one picking him up at all. He's got space and time, but good save from Vitiello. By the way, was fantastic against Tampa Bay Rowdies as well. Put in a man-of-the-match performance. Look at that save, by the way, with his right hand down. Fantastic save.
Lewis curls it in, bouncing through. Appeal for handball. Now Kelly. Soden trying to keep it alive. Now Gadula does. Crawford in tight spaces, gets the shot away. And right at Vitiello, who makes another save. The first few shots of the match in these last couple of plays here for the Battery.
He's got 8 clean sheets this season. Vitiello up there near the top when it comes to clean sheets in the USL. Very, very good reflex goalkeeper. If I ever was to try and criticize him, it'd probably be crosses in the air, but you've seen already this game, he's come and taken one beautifully. What a fantastic season he's having.
Crawford all the way into the corner now. Has to put it back into the middle. Possession conceded. Forbes. He lost it, and here come the Battery. Zico Lewis finding space for Logan Gadula. Standing this up to the back post. Just chested out of play. Shane Wheat wasn't taking any chances. Another corner kick coming for the Battery.
Yeah, good pressure from the visitors. They've had a few corners now and a few set pieces, and they put pressure on. And to be fair, Riverhounds haven't always dealt with it well. There's been a couple of occasions the ball has been bouncing around the box. If they keep doing that, you fancy that eventually the ball will fall to one of the Battery players.
Here's Crawford. In swinger, headed away. Mikel Williams in there. Lewis will put it back in towards the end line. Hogan making the run, able to, oh, not able to keep it in play, pardon me. Out for a goal kick. With sights set on home field advantage, El Paso Locomotive welcomes an OKC Energy side looking to remain in the playoff hunt. It's El Paso and OKC Energy, Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Deportes.
Just one more match after this. Well, it's not, let me rephrase it. One full match after this.
1 1/4.
1 1/4 matches. The last 24 minutes of the Miami match on Wednesday. And then the one outstanding match after that is Hartford, also at home. So you do think if they can get something out of the match at Miami where they're 1-0 up with 24 minutes to go, and then they beat Hartford at home, they do put a lot of pressure on Charlotte. And if Charlotte slip up at all, then Pittsburgh will be able to grab that second spot.
So taking that draw off of Pittsburgh's record just for the moment, that puts them on 51 points. A win here today would then move them up to 54. So that would really shake things up. And that would still keep them below Charlotte, but as you mentioned earlier, it would put much more pressure on them.
Yeah, it'd just be a point behind Charlotte. And while Charlotte have Loudon at home next match, which you would expect them to win, their final game is Austin Bold away, and Austin Bold will probably need points to qualify in that Mountain Division. So that could be a very, very difficult match. And as we've heard from all the managers, when you start traveling from east to west, the travel, the tiredness, the change in, be it altitude or weather, all impacts the players. So Charlotte could potentially drop points. And if you're only a point behind them, even if Charlotte drew in Austin Bold, it would be enough for Pittsburgh to leapfrog them if they win their remaining matches.
In swinger. From Crawford, headed away. Van Schaik will send this forward. Vitiello just has to knock this out of play. Beat the Q Daly to it.
I love the fans and the support. Such a great vibe there at Highmark Stadium, and just just imagine this place during the playoffs. If they do get a home playoff, it will be pumping.
The city knows a thing or two about supporting their teams in the playoffs. And the Riverhounds have been there the last 3 years. They'll be there for a 4th in just a few weeks. Will they get a home game here at Highmark? That's the question. Diving header to clear this away, and now maybe a chance in transition, but a heavy first touch by Cicerone, and this is put out of play. Well, the push to the playoffs for the Riverhounds finishes at home next Saturday, October 30th at 7 p.m. when Hartford Athletic come to town. Don't forget to check out the new tailgate zone starting 2 hours before kickoff with music as well as local foods and beers. Call 412-865-GOAL or visit riverhounds.com. Final 5 minutes of this first half.
I think this first half sort of sums up Charleston Battery's season. Is they look so good in attack, they have opportunities, and they probably will score goals. Maybe not in this game, but generally they'll score. But they just concede too many. It's not a, you know, you'd love it if you were a striker for Charleston Battery to know 1 goal wins you the match. Well, they've conceded 21 in the last 7. That's 3 goals a game. If you're the strike force for the Battery, you're thinking we've got to score 4 goals to stand a chance of winning, which is what they beat Hartford by 4 goals to 3. And that's a hell of a lot to ask your strikers to produce every game.
Mike Anhauser said one of the keys was wanting to come out the way we did the last 2 games, and that was a couple of fast starts. That is not the case here today. It almost felt like the goal from Pittsburgh kind of woke up Charleston, and then they kind of kicked it into gear. Didn't have a shot for about a half hour. And here's Forbes. Now Cicerone. Pittsburgh able to keep it with Griffin.
Hey, the guy's on his back.
Quick ball movement here from Pittsburgh. Might fall for Dixon! And nearly deja vu for Alex Dixon on the full volley. This time it's saved, and it's a corner kick.
Kuzminski with a very good save, but you're right, that golazo he scored to make it 3-3 the last 2 times these teams met. This was almost very, very similar. What a strike and the power. Unfortunately for Dixon, it's right at Kuzminski, so the big goalkeeper simply has to stand firm. But it's still, you can't take away from the fact it is a fantastically timed volley.
This time Kuzminski wins that battle. And now a Kenardo Forbes corner kick. Little flicked header at the near post. And it looks like they'll do it again.
Jelani Peters, the big man in the middle, he's got 2 markers after that free header earlier on. He's got 2 players trying to mark him.
Forbes again. Player went down in the middle for Pittsburgh. It's cleared away. Now sent back in. Kuzminski bobbles, but he was fouled. He'll stay down for just a moment. Fighting there with Williamson.
It's a risky save for Kuzminski because it's not high in the air where you can jump above players. It was low, so he had to go through bodies, which is why he's taken a hit. But credit to him and his bravery. Even with the hit, he still kept on going until he got his hands on the ball. But have a look at it again. The ball hasn't got much height on it, so when he comes, it's low. But he takes the hit, then he keeps on going, gets on that ball. You can see him, he can feel the pain, and once he's got the ball, then he keels over.
There's Repetto, good first touch to keep it. And turned around and then lost it. Another heavy first touch by Williamson.
pressure here coming from the home side. They're making it difficult to play the ball. You rush the pass and eventually lose possession. That's what Pittsburgh Riverhounds are good at doing.
Charleston able to play through it, win a throw-in. Also trying to go quick. Repetto trying to flick it along. Another throw-in for Charleston. Last couple of seconds before we get into stoppage time.
Well, the onus is on the Battery. They've got to find a way through. Riverhounds will keep knocking it out of play and keep blocking, getting behind the ball. Battery got to produce a little bit of magic, and instead they've lost possession.
It's 2 minutes of stoppage time.
Stoppage time. Again, a minimum of 2 minutes stoppage time.
Williamson trying to go behind Hogan. Here's Wharton. Gets it out wide for Dixon. Now it's Forbes just clipping it in. Hogan stepped in. Out for Dixon once more. Forbes. Again, good pressure from Pittsburgh.
It's a little bit aimless from Charleston Battery there. They're hoping for an error.
It's a dangerous pass, though.
I'll say they nearly got it as well, but they need to be a little bit more organized with their counterattacks. They've got so many good players up front with the likes of Nick Daly, Zico Lewis, Repetto. They have to be given good service in order to operate up front.
One more attack for the Riverhounds. Cicerone back for Griffin. It'll be a throw in to Charleston. And there is the final whistle of this first 45 minutes. And so far, so good for the Riverhounds. That's the goal scorer, Todd Wharton. And it's 1-0 here to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they're looking good. They're at home. They've got their eyes on that second spot in the division, and we haven't seen enough from Charleston Battery. There's been a bit of huffing and puffing, and with a bit of luck, they might have got a goal, but they'll need more in the second half, Charleston Battery, if they're to break down this resolute Riverhounds defense.
So we'll see if Pittsburgh can build on this come the second half. Can Charleston spoil the party here in Pittsburgh? Halftime from Highmark Stadium along the river. It's Pittsburgh 1. It's Charleston 0.
The 2021 regular season comes to a close on Saturday, October 30th, when the Hartford Athletic are in town for a 7 p.m. showdown at Highmark Stadium. It's Fan Appreciation Night as the Hounds battle for home field advantage in the playoffs. Come early and join the crowd at the tailgate zone that's open 2 hours before kickoff through halftime. Visit riverhounds.com or talk to a ticket representative at 412-865-GOAL.
Hey, I'm Mike Rope, here today to encourage you to connect with 811 before you dig.
And I'm Micro, and I'm here because I love to dig in the dirt.
It's true. He's also here because he's very small and not that bright. Here, for instance, we can see Micro doing what he loves to do. And here we can see the consequences of not doing what he should have done. Dude, why didn't you call 811?
I forgot the number. See? Not that bright.
My name is Shay, and I have a condition that I take a medication that's made out of human plasma.
Hi, Shay. Welcome to BioLife. We take the generous gift of these donors in order to make these therapies. We make it safe, fast, and easy.
You know, you're compensated for your time while you're coming in and donating.
I just really wanted to thank you for your donation because y'all do change lives. Y'all really do. And I'm thankful for that.
Welcome back to halftime. Pittsburgh Riverhounds, Charleston Battery on this Saturday night here in the Steel City. Let's go back and look at some midweek action across the USL Championship. We will start in the Atlantic Division, a big Floridian derby, the Tampa Bay Rowdies, Miami FC. And this did not start off well for Miami FC. In the 3rd minute, this would be the opening goal for the Rowdies.
Yeah, you can have a look there. Ballard caught in possession. Fernandez nicks it off his toes, passes it to Guenzadi, and they're 1-0 up. And then they make it 2. Have a look at this header, Josh, into the corner. Gives the keeper absolutely no chance. Connor Sparrow. Guenzadi so accurate with foot or head.
So a brace for Guenzadi on the night. He felt like he needed to do a little assisting as well. He did it here.
Perfect assist. Heads it down for Dos Santos to put that one in the back of the net. And they do win the Florida Derby. They don't need the points. Miami needed them, and they don't get them.
So 3-0 to the Rowdies on home soil. Then last night, Hartford and Charlotte. Charlotte has been in great form lately. It did not start off well for them, though. Another own goal for Hugh Roberts.
A good finish, Hugh Roberts. Nah, I'm being nasty, really. And not much he could do. If he doesn't try and cut that off, there's players in the box who finish it off. So unlucky there, Hugh Roberts.
And then 49th minute, this just a touch of class.
Oh, but he picks his spot, Overton. That's how good he is. Dane Kelly, great header down. But Overton says, you've given me a little bit of a gap. I've got no one pressurizing me. I'll stick it in the corner. And that's exactly what he does.
And then come the 68th minute, this would be the game-deciding goal. The outside back, Joel Johnson.
What a finish. If any game deserved to have a winner like this, this is the game. What a winner it is. Bends it around the keeper into that far side of the net. Joel Johnson, spectacular finish. And Charlotte heading to perhaps that 2nd spot in the Atlantic Division.
And that is where they sit currently in the Atlantic Division. So it is halftime here from Pittsburgh. We'll be back 2nd half between the Battery and the Riverhounds.
Today, as you step onto the field, you step into your purpose. You step strong. You step hard. Con toda la fuerza de mujer. You step up.
Hey, y'all. Can we change up the chores?
Sorry. It's up to the wheel, man.
Oh, yeah?
Hey! Change the channel back.
Sorry, it's up to the wheel.
I am a first-generation student here at Bellevue University. I feel like if I were to have gone to a different university, my experience would have been a lot more stressful and overwhelming, because I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that personal experience that Bellevue University has to offer.
Around it comes Fox. Solignat, the back heel in! What a goal!
That's it. Luna is shot into the back. Goal.
Kuramoto has won it for OKC Energy FC. Oh, that is a brilliant goal from the substitute.
Today, as you step onto the field, you step into your purpose. You step strong. You step hard. Con toda la fuerza de mujer. You step up.
2022 season tickets are now on sale for both full and partial season plans. And you can get in for as low as $153. Don't miss your opportunity to save over 20% off of single game prices.
The man who's done it for them all year, it's Russell Cicerone.
That's a good finish.
Cross Wharton. Score!
Order today at riverhounds.com/tickets or call 412-325-7231.
Welcome back to halftime here in Pittsburgh. The Riverhounds and the Charleston Battery winding down this USL Championship season. Let's look at news and notes from around the league to get into this penultimate weekend, the race to the finish. Still a little bit to figure out, and then Rick Schantz, that contract extension, they'll take him through 2024. He'll stay at the helm of Phoenix Rising.
Delighted for him. He's a great guy to talk to, Rick Schantz, and he's done a fantastic job. I mean, you can't question it. Reaching the finals last season, unfortunately the final couldn't be played. They're top again, they're breaking records. I mean, hey, why not give him the contract? He's doing a fantastic job.
And of course, Dane Kelly, the Clear Audio Player of the Week, and he is closing in on a century of goals in the USL Championship. That would be a magnificent achievement, and of course, he will headline the Clear Audio Team of the Week, and plenty of good performances here. But Dane Kelly, what more can you say about this guy?
A wonderful player in a team that's just gaining momentum. He's got Irvin Parra there next to him, so good luck managing either of those two. I think a shout out for Cal Jennings at Las Vegas Lights, been scoring a ton of goals recently, just giving them something to smile about. And LA Galaxy, if you ignore their final match, which was the most recent one against the Charleston Battery, they've been in good form, and a lot to do with Jorge Hernandez.
And of course, Aiden Quinn getting to 40 regular season assists in his career as well. Look at the schedule, what is to come the rest of the night and into next week. A lot of interesting fixtures here.
Yeah, there certainly are. I mean, Miami FC against New York Red Bulls. Miami's still trying to play their way up the table in the Atlantic Division. Phoenix Rising, they're pretty much just getting themselves focused for the playoffs. It'll be a tough match for Sacramento Republic, who I don't think are out of it just yet. They're just hanging on by their fingernails.
They will need a lot of results to go their way, so we'll see if they can start out with a win here tonight into their final two games. So we are getting set for the second half from Highmark Stadium in Pittsburgh. Battery and Riverhounds, second half next.
I can't believe we're doing this.
Gus, you're not scared, are you?
I don't like thunder. Hope there are no monsters.
Did you say monster?
Ooh, monster money. The new scratch-off from the Pennsylvania lottery.
Yeah, with top prizes of 13 grand.
That's a monster of a prize. Keep on scratching.
And it's saved! And the rebound goes over the top!
The 2021 regular season comes to a close on Saturday, October 30th, when the Hartford Athletic are in town for a 7 p.m. showdown at Highmark Stadium. It's Fan Appreciation Night as the Hounds battle for home field advantage in the playoffs. Come early and join the crowd at the tailgate zone that's open 2 hours before kickoff through halftime. Visit riverhounds.com or talk to a ticket representative at 412-865-GOAL.
Before, you weren't able to walk very far.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I couldn't even get out of bed sometimes.
How are you walking now?
I'm walking 6 miles a day.
Awesome.
Getting control back is living proof. The AHN Neuroscience Institute.
Have you heard about the new Tailgate Zone at Highmark Stadium? The Tailgate Zone is located just outside of the Highmark Stadium West Gate for all remaining 2021 home matches starting 2 hours before kickoff. You can hang out pregame through halftime of Hounds home games and enjoy local brews and drinks, local food trucks, and music as part of the match day festivities. Visit riverhounds.com for more information or call 412-865-GOAL.
Building up to the second half here from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Riverhounds 1, Charleston Battery 0. Time to look at our first half highlights. And plenty of chances, mostly for the home side through 45 minutes. We pick things up in the 17th minute. Canardo Forbes over this corner kick.
Yeah, Jelani Peters with a header, and in the end, the goalkeeper just touching that one over the crossbar, Guzminski, but unmarked from the header was Jelani Peters.
Chances would keep on coming. 27th minute, and this would be the moment for the Riverhounds.
Yeah, Todd Wharton, his first effort hits the post. Cicerone trying to keep the ball alive, gets it back to Todd Wharton, and his second one goes into the back of the net. Have a look here. Goalkeeper Kuzminski was out trying to stop the ball from getting in at an angle. And in the end, they get their breakthrough courtesy of Todd Wharton.
30th minute, more chances coming for the home side. Cicerone nearly did this himself.
Yeah, tight angle. I think he was going for the nutmeg between the big goalkeeper's legs and didn't quite get it.
And then as the half wore on, this is when Charleston started to build into the game. It felt like that goal almost woke them up.
Yeah, they slowly did. Nick Daly here with an effort. It was very, very well saved by Danny Vitiello. So at this stage, Charleston with a decent effort. It's a very good save when you see it from behind with that right hand of his, Danny Vitiello.
42nd minute, nearly deja vu for Alex Dixon.
Oh, what a strike. What a strike. He got the equalizer when they drew 3-3 with a magnificent volley. This one was almost as good, but it was straight at Kuzminski.
Halftime stats, the shots well in favor of Pittsburgh, and of those 11 shots, 10 of them in the box. They are getting very close to Joe Kuzminski.
They certainly are, and they've been the more dominant side. Yes, Charleston have had a few balls bouncing around the box, but they haven't been controlled efforts. And if you look at possession in the opposition half, 93 passes for Pittsburgh, only 52 for Charleston in the opposition half. So clearly for me, the first half belongs to the host side, the Riverhounds, but there's no saying Charleston Battery can't come back in the second half.
And as Mike Anhauser has said, they are playing for max points, and that would be getting them up to 46 on the season. And we'll see if they can do that with wins in their final 3 matches, but that includes 3 points here tonight. And they'll have to come from behind. That's not something Pittsburgh allows all too often. They've only dropped points on 5 occasions this year when they have scored that opening goal.
There he is, Vitiello. A couple of fantastic saves. Not just this match, but we mentioned the previous home match against Tampa Bay Rowdies with a penalty save and a whole bunch more. So they certainly do seem to have the momentum, Riverhounds. And when we spoke to Bob Lilly, he said that's what it's all about. He said these last few games are about getting our momentum ready so we're into the playoffs. Charleston Battery, it's playing for contracts besides the points. And you mentioned 46 points as what they're aiming to get as they end the season. Those players are playing for contracts for next year as well. So there's a lot on the line for the Charleston Battery players.
Mike Anhauser tried to explain that these are their playoff games. They won't be playing past next weekend, but they want to finish this season strong. They're trying to spoil the party here for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, but the Riverhounds not quite letting that happen. The referee looks a little bit chilly, needs to warm up as he gets the second half underway. Temperature at about 50 degrees along the river here in Pittsburgh. For Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey, I'm Josh Eastern. Thanks for joining us tonight. 45 more minutes from Highmark Stadium. A big game with seeding implications for the Riverhounds ahead of their quick trip down to Miami on Wednesday.
It is going to complicate their lives a little bit, having to travel back down to Miami and then get back home for that final match against Hartford. So you wonder, just how that's going to impact on them in terms of tired bodies, minds, and legs.
To be fair, though, there are worse places to travel this time of the year than Miami, but
it's still travel.
A business trip.
Exactly. It's still travel. It's still, getting on planes and getting off and going to hotels. And even though it's 24 minutes or whatever it is, you've got to get warmed up and you've got to get ready. And they had 1 point, Pittsburgh. What they don't want to do, from their point of view, is go and lose the match. And yes, they do start at 1-0 up, but Miami's going to be fuming. Miami FC are also fighting for a best possible finish. So who's to say this actually ends up being to Pittsburgh's benefit? So it is a business trip. It's one they're going to have to focus on, and it's not going to be easy.
Pittsburgh still want to see this one out and grab the full 3 points. That is the next most important thing for Pittsburgh before they turn their attention to what lies ahead of them next week. I'm sure that was the message from Bob Lilly, just trying to see this one out. They'll probably get the best shot from Charleston in this second half.
just looking at some of the Pittsburgh's recent games, they've only had one win in the last 5. And again, I think that's why Bob Liddy talks about momentum, is they actually haven't had it for a while. They haven't had the sort of momentum they showed in patches throughout the season. So they're going to be looking at it going, if we can get a win here and then we followed up with another win next weekend against Hartford, that's the momentum I think he's talking about. And again, against Miami, they were excellent, just keeping Miami FC to the 1 shot on target while they had 7. So they do seem to be gaining momentum, but you need to win this match to keep that momentum going.
Tommy! Come off the line!
No, sorry, dude. I was looking away and
There's Crawford stepping up into the midfield. I think Hugh Daly fell down. Now Dixon will play this ahead for Forbes. Now Wharton. He split that double team, and he was fouled as he goes down. And Sodan has to get back to his feet as well.
I think both players are feeling the effects of that tackle as they get up very, very slowly. Sodom had an assist in that match against LA Galaxy 2, that 3-1 win. Lovely cross from the left for the second goal.
And of course, it's Forbes standing over at this set piece. Curling this into the back post. Headed back into the middle. Kelly and Crawford were debating who wanted to clear it. Kelly eventually did. And Griffin will knock this all the way back to Vitiello. There's Romario Piggott. Early cross in. Repetto. Back in the middle. Crawford from distance. It was blocked down. Sodan will keep it in. His cross deflected and out for a throw-in.
With a positivity there in the attack for Charleston Battery, and you get the sense that these players have 10 minutes or so in which to prove to Mike Anhauser they can get the goal. Otherwise, there's the likes of Zarakostas on the bench for the Battery and Bunting, players who can come on and score goals. So those who currently have that position for the Battery will need to show something in the next 10 minutes, you would think.
Still no subs used for either side. Both these teams do play in the midweek, so I'm sure we'll see a bit of rotation come those games. Charleston, one less day of rest. They'll play on Tuesday against Hartford Athletic. In tight spaces on the far side. Now Pittsburgh will find some space. Forbes surveying his options.
The onus very much on the Battery to come and make it happen. I think Pittsburgh will quite happily move the ball around at 1-0 up. They've got the 3 points, so to speak, and needs the Battery to try and do something different in this second half to try and get the equalizer.
Dixon stepping in to win it back. Williamson trying to square it. It's cleared away. Hogan puts this out. It will be a throw-in deep in that corner for the Riverhounds.
Williamson had the right idea. He was just trying to square it across there to Cicerone, but blocked by the defenders. Very quick and clever in transition there, Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
Soden closed down quickly by Wharton. There's Kelly. He was tripped just behind the play. Bit of a late whistle. I think referee wanted to see if advantage would be played. Now it's brought back for a free kick.
And with all the tackles and bumps and bruises, it hasn't been a nasty match at all.
No.
Referee Sergei Demyanchuk hasn't really had to pull out his cards. I think that's credit to both sides. It's been played in a very good spirit.
Here's Van Schaik.
Just chatting with Bob Lilly as well during the week, and he did mention Charleston and say, you know what, they're good enough to be a playoff team. This is a tough division that we're in, but I think he has a lot of respect for Mike Anhauser and the Charleston Battery side, and he just felt quality-wise they should be a playoff side, and that they've just been very unlucky to have been drawn in this tough division. I guess you could say the same for Harry Watling at Hartford. Another decent, very decent team that will feel that perhaps if they were in one of the other divisions, they might very well be in the playoffs.
And for Charleston, it was really those 8 games they went winless, 0-4-4 before that win against Hartford on October 10th.
Yeah, you're right. I think they got 4 points from 24. A bad run like that, and it just leaves you chasing everybody else. And if everybody else is 4 very good teams, then you've got a problem.
There's Williamson, who was tripped. This will set up a free kick at an interesting spot here for Pittsburgh. Chance to add on to that 1-goal advantage.
There's arms by both players, not quite sure who did more of what, but in the end, given against Jared Van Schaik. One of those angles where you could have a shot if you're Forbes. And if Kuzminski goes too far across to the left as we look at the screen, then he might fancy himself, Bernardo Forbes, to bend it in near post. So the goalkeeper has to line his wall up to cover that near post. The other option is whip it in for one of the big boys running onto the ball.
It's Williamson and Forbes, especially with the right foot. You need something really special here if you go for goal. So the Williamson out of play. Looked like Kuzminski did get a hand on it. Out for a corner kick.
Yeah, the keeper had it covered. Good idea, but has to be hit a little bit hard. I don't know if it took a deflection off the edge of the wall. Have a look here. Did it slow it down? Perhaps it did, but either way, goalkeeper was there in good time. As you mentioned, it would have taken a hell of a shot to have beaten Kuzminski from there.
And of course, Forbes now in the corner. Towards the near post, got the flick. Ball driven back in, taken by Kuzminski, and he'll distribute quickly. Couldn't get it by Griffin, but picked up by Kelly. Plays it off for Piggott. Out wide for Zico Lewis. Dula pushed down. Referee will let play go on, or so we thought. Dula took a big shot there. This will be a free kick for Charleston.
Difficult one, because the referee given advantage and the ball ends up in the box. You'd think that's a better advantage. Have a look here, though. He's trying to hold the ball. There's not much, really, is there? But plays it well, does Logan Gadula to win the free kick.
Well, that's where it becomes so subjective, because the referee's interpretation of advantage might be different from what the players want. So
100%. I just feel if the ball's in the box, it's more dangerous than out of the box. So maybe let it run for a little bit longer. But again, very difficult being a referee. No criticism to Sergei Demyanchuk. You've got to make instant decisions, and it's very easy for us with the time on our hands to speculate how we should have blown.
Lewis curls this in. Vitiello there to snatch it away from Arisodan, who's making the run.
And good goalkeeping. Not the first time that Vitiello's come and plucked it out the air with nice, safe hands. Defenders love that, because you're scrambling backwards. You don't know where the attacker is. You don't know what's happening. Your keeper comes and grabs it, and you can all relax and push forward.
There's Griffin now for Dixon. This pretty good from Pittsburgh, but the finish wasn't quite there. An appeal maybe for a penalty, as Cicerone was hit right as he tried to take that shot. Let's take another look at this.
He's in front of the defender. Ooh, there is contact, but is it the sort of contact you give a penalty for? You know, if Cicerone pulls his foot backwards and it makes contact, is that a penalty? And without VAR, you can't slow it down and have another look. So for the referee, has to see it clearly in real time or can't give it. So I guess it's not going to be given. But what a good chance it was, because Cicerone was lining it up. He had it all open in front of him. And that little bit of contact put him off balance, and opportunity gone.
I think it's worth another look here.
So watch him, he's ahead of the defender. Watch his foot come back there. Well, you know what? When you see it again, his foot actually got stood on. If there was, it gets stood on. If there was VAR, that probably is given. But again, the referee doesn't have VAR, has to see it in real time immediately. And I certainly one in real time wouldn't have thought that was worthy of a penalty.
Because in real time, it looked like the defender got there right as he took the shot on. But now that we see that, it looked like it was even before the shot. And that's what maybe makes that into more of a penalty than originally thought there at first glance.
100%, because you're thinking maybe Cicerone stretches his right foot back and makes contact. And that's not necessarily on the defender, but in this case, defender stands on his foot, which probably would have been given as a penalty. Well, hopefully one of these days we'll have VAR in the USL. And until then, referees have to make very difficult, very quick decisions. And again, Mr. Demyanchuk, can't blame him for not getting that one spot on. Almost impossible to see what happened.
Cicerone still looks like he's a bit bothered by it as he comes back on. Dixon loses it in the middle. Lewis moves it out wide for Gadula. Scooping it forward. Kelly.
Good control by Pittsburgh. You're 1-0 up, you're at home. You're managing to control the game the way you want it. And once again, it is up to the battery to try and disturb the process and get at them and get turnover ball, which they haven't been able to do very easily.
Forbes taking off the ball, advantage being played. Shane Wheat, the center back. Wide for Dixon. Putting this in, bounces all the way through. And out for a Charleston throw. The last time these two teams played, it was Pittsburgh who took a 2-0 advantage before Charleston then came back with 3 unanswered goals. We all know how it ended with the Alex Dixon volleyed goal. This game very much there for Charleston to come right back into it. And only 1 shot in this second half for the away side.
Interesting that the coach, Mike Anhauser, said that he felt the vibe and the morale at the Battery was very, very good, even though they haven't made the playoffs. You would tend to think that heads would be down and, you know, a season ends with nothing to look forward to. But he said the guys were in good spirits.
It was too tall for Wharton and cleared away. The big thing out of that chat was him saying that we try to play every game the same way. We have that mentality from game 1 to game 32. That's the key, and it's just been a tough season with Charleston with injuries and other factors. The postponed games they've had due to weather have also been difficult, because if you play LA Galaxy 2, I'm not saying that the result's going to change, but if you play them back in June, they were not in nearly as good a form back in June as they are now. That could have changed things. It could have changed momentum of kind of how you were playing at that time. There's so many what-ifs and all that, but it's just how the season has played out for Charleston, just maybe on the wrong side of luck.
If they're going to change the luck here, I just wonder if roundabout now isn't the time to make some subs. We haven't seen anything happening on the touchline as yet. I'm thinking Zaracostas would be certainly his liveliness, and he gets stuck in as well, Zaracostas. He'd be a good option to throw on. DZ Harmon might be another option as well.
Both those players starting in the midweek. For the quick ball up ahead for Repetto. It's Nicu Daly and Claudia Repetto with two least amount of touches for the Charleston Battery in this game. Nicu Daly's only touched it 10 times. And here he is on the ball. Daly takes the shot on and scores! Give him a touch, and he'll turn it into a goal. It's 1-1 for Charleston.
That's a great finish from Nicu Daly, right on cue. As you mentioned his name, he gets the ball, turns and fires it into the corner. Perhaps the first time this entire match, Riverhounds haven't been tight on those Charleston Battery attackers. He had time to have a go, to push the ball forward, to lift his head up and have a look and see where Danny Vitiello was. Have a look here from Kelly in midfield. There's a turn here and a run from Lewis. Plays the ball. They back off him, don't they, the defenders? They back off him and allow him just to size up the shot. Look, all backing off. He's got time, picks his spot, head up. What a great strike there from Nicu Daly, and they're back in business, Charleston Battery.
Eighth goal on the season for Nicu Daly. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, fantastic timing.
So there is the way back for Charleston. Now let's go see if they can get another. And now the pressure turns back to Pittsburgh. If you're Charleston, you're out there playing free. Pittsburgh maybe a bit more tense.
Well, very much. This would be a bad result for Pittsburgh if it remains. When they go for those final 24 minutes against Miami, against a very annoyed Miami side, no doubt, having to play those minutes. So things could go from, I'd say bad to worse, but they could go a little bit downhill for Pittsburgh if they can't turn this around. Very important spell here as they move towards the playoffs. By the way, message from Mike Anhauser, will you please mention Repetto's name so he can score? I'm only kidding.
I'll work on it. I guess in the goals per touches category, Nicu Daly doing quite well.
Yeah, but it is a concern when you don't get many touches as a striker. It means your midfielder getting overrun a little bit. They're not able to feed you with the ball you need. And if it's not the midfield, maybe it's the midfield having to help out the defense because they're not able to do their job. So yeah, it's an indicator that something not 100% right.
And there's Repetto in an offside position. Well, it all comes down to the final day of the regular season. Watch the drama unfold all evening long on ESPN Plus as the race for the USL Championship playoffs comes to an end. Action begins October 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus. A full slate of action. I'm very much looking forward to that final day. The overall #1 seed could come down to that final day as well. Phoenix and Tampa Bay in their respective matches. Here's Todd Wharton again for Pittsburgh, taken down, free kick, and this in an A+ position for the Riverhounds.
It's a dangerous place to give away free kicks. You always have that sort of rule that you want to stop players a lot earlier than on the edge of your box. And big Patrick Hogan just getting his shoulder in there and saying, "You're not going to pass. I don't care."
They play football down the river. Well, now this will favor a right foot, whether it be Williamson or Forbes. Take your pick. Peters trying to stand in the wall, referee not letting him.
I think you have to be a certain number of yards in front of the wall. You can't stand right on top of players, of course, because it breeds the sort of pushing and shoving problem. But you are allowed to stand a couple of yards in front of them.
Williamson nearly scored a few minutes ago on a set piece. See what they can conjure up here. Williamson and Forbes. It'll be Williamson and off the wall. The wall does its job. Pittsburgh trying to keep this in with Peters. Deflected away. Now here comes Nicu Daly. Repetto was offside. You could see him trying to look down the line, but Pittsburgh did just well enough.
They did. They stepped up well. He can see the line. He's got to come back on there, and he's looking down the line. He's offside as he's looking, so it's on Repetto. He's got to stop and come back if necessary, because he was one-on-one there if he gets through. It was just one central defender that he might have been able to outsprint, so not the best of attacking there from Repetto. So I haven't seen subs, which is surprising. Normally, managers are freshening up teams by now, getting new legs on, but maybe both managers are happy with what they're seeing.
Especially with a manager like Bob Lilly, who's always tinkering. You look on the bench for this Pittsburgh side, very defensive-minded substitutions. Anthony Velarde can provide some legs in midfield, but see what they can come up with here. Williamson, this one out of play.
That's a tough one there. Cicerone made a good run. Dixon was waiting. Todd Wharton as well was on the right side there. You've run all the way up the pitch. I need to see Williamson flash it wide of goals from a very difficult angle.
Full and partial season ticket plans are now on sale for the Riverhounds 2022 season. Save 20% off of individual gate prices and see the Hounds from the same seat all season. Visit riverhounds.com/tickets. Cross coming in. Williams to knock it away. Crowd trying to urge the Riverhounds on with under 20 minutes to go.
This would be a big blow to the Riverhounds. If they draw this match, then they are very close to having lost that second position. Obviously depends how things go against Miami on Wednesday, but draw here, and Charlotte will have a gap of 2 points, and Pittsburgh would have played the extra game. So then you'd pretty much fancy Charlotte. Maybe even just the win in the next match against Loudoun might do enough to clinch second spot.
Charlotte with still 2 matches to go, Loudoun and at Austin. Circling back on that Charleston goal, Zico Lewis credited with the assist. He's now up to 10 assists on the season. Double-digit assists for Charleston's number 10. I think that's an individual marker he can be proud of.
Again, it just shows you going forward, Charleston Battery a very good side with lots of goal scorers. Nick Udaitis, 7 goals, Repetto, 9. You mentioned Zico Lewis, 5 goals and 9 assists. Even 4 from the likes of Mario Pickett. It's in defense that they've given away way too many goals.
There's Lewis going down. Referee says no.
Difference with VAR in real time. In these situations, the referee's got to be absolutely convinced and sure. You can't just give a penalty because you think someone fell or you think somebody might have been tripped up. Of course, with VAR, it's very different. You can go and have a look at it exactly and make a very specific call. So in these games, still for the referees, they've got to be convinced of a decision. And that's why players probably don't get all the calls they think they should get.
Maybe without VAR hanging over the referees' heads, that's the definition of clear and obvious. Because it has to be clear and obvious for them to give it.
Exactly.
We have no goddamn advantage. And now he's talking to us that he messed up. God damn it, sir.
Sounds like things are getting a little bit heated on the touchline as we enter the last 15 minutes. So much at stake, especially for the Riverhounds, but a lot of pride at stake and contracts at stake rather for the Charleston Battery players. So expect the last 15 minutes to be quite spicy.
There's Griffin. He's pulled down from behind.
I don't think he's given a card yet, has he? I'm trying to...
No.
He hasn't, has he? So, there you go. It has been played in good spirit, and I think the referee's been a big part of that. Mr. Demianchuk just stepped in nice and quickly and just warned players where he needed to.
Vera. Now it's Forbes. Some space to take the shot on. And puts it out wide. Well, if you can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio, featuring Ray Hudson, Tony Meola, Rodney Marsh, and USL All Access with Mike Watson, Devin Kerr, every Tuesday night at 7 Eastern. You can also hear live action from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the app. Looked like there were a few substitutions readying for this Pittsburgh side. Pickett making the run. Picked up by Kelly. All he can do is drive this out of play.
And just something else about this result. Should Pittsburgh, or should this result remain, and I think Pittsburgh are 4 points ahead of Miami, having played the extra game. Should Miami turn things around on Wednesday and win, they would be close enough to Pittsburgh to maybe actually end up above them if Pittsburgh then struggle in their final match. So for Pittsburgh, they're looking up at second spot potentially, but they could also be looking down at fourth if they can't turn this match around.
And here are those subs. Luis Perez will come on for Danny Rovira. Jordan Dover, Anthony Velarde will also come on for Todd Wharton and Tommy Williamson.
Makes sense. Fresh legs, fresh energy. They need the result. The onus now is on Pittsburgh to go and get those 3 points. And always think when you bring fresh legs on and fresh minds, it just gives the team a boost for a good 5 or 10 minutes.
Let's see what these subs can provide. Many of them have been in the starting lineup this year. Luis Perez, though, making his 26th appearance, his 18th appearance off the bench. Here's Cicerone! Pittsburgh regained the advantage! He's been the go-to man all year for the Riverhounds, and he scores another big one tonight.
That's his 16th goal of the season. We just talked about the change in energy when you bring on substitutes, and that's exactly what's happened. It'll spark an energy, an opportunity, get it to Russell, and he will finish the job. It is played through the middle. Dixon, right away, he knows where Russell Cicerone is. It's a quick touch, quick pass, accurate pass. Good first touch from Cicerone, and tucks it in the corner past Guzminski. Fantastic, quick vertical play from the Riverhounds, and they're back in the lead, and they've got those 3 points back in their hands.
A crucial goal that could be, and a substitution coming for Charleston. So a couple of subs, DC Harmon, Stavros Zerakostas have come on for the Charleston Battery, now trying to get back in this game. And as you mentioned, that is goal number 16 on the season for Russell Cicerone, a career year for Pittsburgh's number 10.
Well, now it's back on Charleston Battery. We said it might be a similar game to the 3-3. Well, it's heading in that direction. A goal, we score, you score, we score, you score. So it'll be a very exciting last 10 minutes, but Charleston will have to push forward, and that might leave a few gaps the Riverhounds can expose.
10 minutes to go. Dover gets taken down. Stavros Zerakostas just onto the field, not making friends.
He's a very combative player, Zerakostas. He gets stuck in and he ruffles feathers, but he also scores goals. Often golazos, by the way, a couple last season that I still remember. Top corner jobs. Fantastic strikes from Zerakostas.
Out for another Pittsburgh corner kick. Forbes towards that near post. Velarde slides it out wide. Pittsburgh can just play keep away from Charleston at this point.
The last match, it was an 87th minute equalizer from the Riverhounds. So there's still plenty of time left in this match for equalizers.
There's been plenty of late goals scored in this series this season. Down the line. It's knocked out of play. 7 minutes to go. DZ Harmon will throw this in for the Battery. Cerrone will clear. Here's Van Schaik.
Getting very deep, aren't they, Pittsburgh? That low block, final third of the pitch. And they're quite happy to just defend for the last 7 minutes and just try and intercept the ball, make it difficult for Battery, keep forcing them back, keep them away from their goal mouth.
Harmon heads this forward. It's taken by Vitiello. Well, something Bob Lilly said to us this week was talking about the last time Charleston was here and scoring 3 goals. He said that doesn't happen at Highmark Stadium all too often. I think Pittsburgh trying to exact some of that revenge here tonight, keeping them just this 1 goal.
Yeah, he was complimentary to Charleston, saying how dangerous they were in attack. And again, we've said it a few times, they are a very good attacking side. It's their defense that's been their problem.
Long run for Repetto. Vitiello puts it out of play. Playing sweeper keeper.
Next chance. Who you going in for? Yeah.
To the end line. Cleared away.
Pittsburgh will be happy with that. If Charleston want to play it around in their half, they'll be thinking, well, that will do us. Just do that for 5 more minutes and we get the 3 points. What the Battery have to do is try and get a bit more vertical, try and move it up that pitch a bit more quickly, give their strikers a chance. As you said, there's some good strikers who, when you give them the service like Nick Daly, immediately he scores. They just him and Repetto just haven't had enough ball to play with, and of course no Nick Daly on, but Zaracostas is on. Maybe try and get the ball to him.
Another sub for Charleston will be Joel Bunting coming on for Temi Adesodan. Bunting, who collected his first pro assist in the midweek on Zico Lewis's goal against LA Galaxy 2. Very solid first season for the Charleston native.
Good work here. Look at the number of white shirts there. Pressing, trying to make it difficult for the Battery to get on the front foot.
Trying to switch the point of attack. It's Zaracostas. Zaracostas will take this on. Going to give Danny Vitiello too much trouble.
Goalkeeper's been solid all game. Crosses, shots, everything he's had to do, he's done really well. Didn't have any chance of that Nick Daly shot right into the corner. Other than that, as always, Vitiello has been very difficult to beat.
All driven in, nobody there in a white shirt. Looks like another substitution coming for Pittsburgh. It'll be a defensive-minded substitution, as you might guess at this point. Preston Kilwine coming on for Russell Cicerone, whose goal right now stands up as the winner.
What a season Cicerone's had. He's right up there with the top goal scorers in the USL, and I think Riverhounds fans will be thinking if we're going to win anything this season, it's going to be because that man there's going to make it happen.
Long over the top, Harmon trying to get up for it. Second ball though picked up and then swiped clear.
Nice.
So a win here for Pittsburgh would move them up to 54 points.
Certainly
Lewis going down.
Certainly makes the Wednesday match a must-watch, because already Miami will not be happy having to replay part of the game, so it's guaranteed to be a little bit tense from the get-go. On top of that, if Pittsburgh do retain this lead, they'll be going all out to make it a 3-point win, because they actually enter the game 1-0 up. And so there's going to be so much, even though it's a short game, only 24 minutes or thereabouts.
Hey, you don't even need to book 2 hours.
Exactly.
25 minutes.
It's going to be a spicy one.
It's a sprint. Push from behind. Kostas goes down. Set piece here for Charleston and Crawford.
Robbie Crawford, fantastic background at Glasgow Rangers. 57 appearances for Glasgow Rangers. Top-class player. Been a bit injury-prone this season. That's another reason that they've struggled. They've missed a player of his quality.
Crawford curling this in. The header comes towards goal. Not enough power to beat Vitiello as we get into stoppage time here. It's 3 minutes.
The fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 3 minutes stoppage time. Again, a minimum of 3 minutes.
You would think, given what's at stake for Pittsburgh and that chance of a second place, they're going to really run themselves the last 3 minutes. They don't want any errors, any mistakes that gift something to the battery. So I expect to see these white shirts hunting in packs and running for the last few minutes.
Off, ref, we want to play.
We apologize for the language. As you can hear, Charleston wants to get on with things here. It's a handball, will be a free kick to Charleston. Is Kuzminski going to come up for this one?
Some of the big boys are going up as well. I think they see this as a possible last chance, so they're going to hoof this one right into the box. This is where Danny Vitiello is going to have to really play his part as a goalkeeper.
And Shake drives it in, the header back into the middle. Still a chance, and now the flag up for offside. And a substitution, this is the last one for the Riverhounds. It's Jalen Robinson coming on for Alex Dixon.
Substitution just to slow things down, take the heat out the match for a moment, allow the players to just orientate themselves and get organized at the back. That's a sensible substitution.
Pittsburgh Riverhounds
Another strong night for Alex Dixon.
Jalen Robinson. In for number 7, Alex Dixon.
Those two have been through a lot together, of course, with their time in Rochester as well. Another playoff run coming for the Riverhounds. Still a lot to figure out between now and then.
Again, they don't want to finish, oh, there's a handball there. They don't want to finish 3rd or 4th and end up at Lou City, because that's how it went last season, wasn't it, for the Riverhounds? And that was the end of the playoffs, traveling to the Lynn Family Stadium to face Louisville City. So it's probably something they are keen to avoid this time around.
Just trying to see this one out, and they're only seconds away from a crucial 3 points. This has got to be the last chance for Charleston. Kuzminski, yep, he'll come forward, why not?
Get the big goalkeeper up there. Cause chaos, what is he, 6'4" or 5? Very difficult to mark.
Crawford puts it in. Looking to win a second ball, Wheat able to head it away. There's the final whistle, a crucial 3 points for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. 2-1 winners, another hard-fought win over the Charleston Battery.
Yes, a good win for Riverhounds, absolutely vital. The points more precious to them than it is to Charleston Battery, which is why their fans are absolutely delighted. But credit Battery for coming back second half. Nick Daly with a fantastic strike to level it. And then Cicerone with another moment of magic for the man who scored 16 goals this season. But look at those fans. They're excited, they're happy. They'll be looking forward to Wednesday night to see if they can pick up more points against Miami FC, and then one final match at home before the playoffs.
That's good to see between Mike Anhauser and Bob Lilly there at the end as well. We'll come back and wrap things up. It finishes Pittsburgh 2, Charleston 1.
And it's saved! And the rebound goes over the top!
The 2021 regular season comes to a close on Saturday, October 30th, when the Hartford Athletic are in town for a 7 p.m. showdown at Highmark Stadium. It's Fan Appreciation Night as the Hounds battle for home field advantage in the playoffs. Come early and join the crowd at the tailgate zone that's open 2 hours before kickoff through halftime. Visit riverhounds.com or talk to a ticket representative at 412-865-GOAL. Pleasant Valley Golf Club, nestled in the Laurel Highlands of southwestern Pennsylvania, is now open to the public. Enjoy 18 holes of championship golf with a new island green and fully stocked pro shop. Our clubhouse features a large ballroom for weddings or private parties, 2 restaurants serving delicious food, a sports bar, 2 state-of-the-art golf simulators, and an outdoor patio with gas fire pit and picturesque view. Pleasant Valley Golf Club, now open to the public. 2022 season tickets are now on sale for both full and partial season plans. And you can get in for as low as $153. Don't miss your opportunity to save over 20% off of single game prices.
The man who's done it for them all year, it's Russell Cicerone.
That's a good finish.
Cross Wharton, score!
Order today at riverhounds.com/tickets or call 412-325-7231.
Back to wrap things up. Pittsburgh victorious on this Saturday night here at Highmark Stadium. A crucial 3 points over the Charleston Battery. Time to look back at the 90 minutes, our full-time highlights. We start in the 27th minute, and this was the crucial moment that got Pittsburgh on the score sheet first. Ball coming in, Wharton off the post. Cicerone trying to keep this alive. He'd eventually pick out Todd Wharton, and that was good enough to make it 1-0 on the night. Another opening goal for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They are so good when they are playing from in front. Their 13th win when getting that first goal. That almost woke Charleston up, though, as this game continued on. Repetto, his shot blocked down. Then Nick Daly. He didn't have many touches in this game, but he did force a save out of Danny Vitiello here. That was one of the first shots of the game as well for the Battery. Still in the first half, 42nd minute. More good build-up play, bad deflection, and nearly Alex Dixon deja vu from his game-tying goal a few weeks ago against this Charleston Battery side. 65th minute. Zico Lewis bringing in the attack. And there's Nick Daly finding a pocket of space. Caught it clean, able to beat Danny Vitiello this time. He gets a goal. It's his 8th on the season. It made it 1-1. Then 79th minute, just as those subs came onto the field, Alex Dixon up ahead for Russell Cicerone. Goal number 16 on the year for Cicerone. And that is the winning goal on the night for the Riverhounds. A look at the full-time stats. Pittsburgh really controlled this game. 17 shots just to Charleston's 9, and they come away as 2-1 winners. So that sets up the Atlantic Division looking like this. Pittsburgh currently on 55 points. We'll factor in the Miami game that they're going to play as this week continues on, but it'll all shake out after Wednesday, and we'll have a clear picture going into the final weekend next week after those midweek fixtures are complete. So that'll do it for our coverage tonight along the river here in the Steel City of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We're building up to the playoffs, and we had a playoff-type atmosphere tonight here at Highmark Stadium. For our entire crew, broadcast partner Gary Bailey, I'm Josh Eastern, saying so long. It finishes Pittsburgh 2, Charleston 1. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.